what we're having right now is the chicken and the egg conversation. Walking first, chicken and the egg. Yeah. And you think the egg came first, and I think the chicken came first.
Right.
I think this is being created. These people are being selected purposely. And I say this.
That's your conspiracy.
No, but it's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. The reason why I say this especially is because when you just consider, like, there's just no way that these kids, like, you naturally like beauty. Okay. You naturally like to hear a good sound. So it really matters. And this goes back to what we were talking about with pornography. When I was saying, you're not going to convince me that the average person believes that this demonic sex that's on display is what's natural.
That's not demonic.
It is. It's no, but seriously, what Pornhub is doing, and I talk about this on my show often because I read every year, I read the annual report of what they say the top videos were that were watched, right? Yeah. Pornhub is feeding top trend suggestions, okay? So they're making it more derogatory every year. So they're actually the taste makers. So they're going, this is going to be the first time this kid, maybe he's going to come to a porn website before he actually loses his virginity. So what are we going to offer him first? He has no concept yet of what sex is. Well, we're going to offer him this debased this and that. So that is going to be a preference that is set for him. When is the first time a kid is hearing music? How are they hearing it? Are they watching a reality TV show? Are they watching Wildin' Out? Are they watching what? Like, I remember watching the Jackson 5 movie. What was it called?
American Dream.
Was it called American Dream?
Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. And just thinking Michael Jackson was just the most amazing person ever. So media is playing a role in this. What you're putting on the TV screens, whether it's reality TV, whether it's what you're putting on the airwaves when they're driving to school. I used to listen to Z100. They're hearing this stuff first. So this stuff is being selected. That's why it matters what records are being played. And you hear rappers talking about that in their music. So whether you're talking about Kanye way back when he said, if I rap about Jesus, my record won't get played, right? So you're taking it over there. Jay-Z has spoken about things similarly about how trying to get his record played and the things that you have to do. This is going back to when I told you that I recently had a conversation with Amber Rose. Here's what you have to do if you want to book a magazine cover. You have to be willing to get more naked. Okay, so there's somebody that is telling them that this is what you have to do. It's a lie to say, and I'll tell you why it's definitely a lie to say, well, this is just what's selling. You're not going to convince me that suddenly, in the blink of an eye, like everyone agreed that fat acceptance movement, like we all just were like, yeah, that's what we want to see on the cover of like Vogue. And then all of a sudden one year it was all like fat girls and thongs. Because somebody decided that. It wasn't us. Not the average person is not like, give me Lizzo's Instagram. Okay? So I just am not going to accept that we within ourselves decided this.
Sit here and talk about Lizzo.
I'm sure she's a very kind person. I want Lizzo to live long. I think people that tell her this is amazing, actually are pretending to love her, but they actually don't have real love for her, because when you have real love for someone, you want their life to be better. You want Lizzo to be here as long as possible. I think
Lizzo
by the way,
happy.
She's not.
She is. You can't tell somebody they're not happy, Candace.
She actually has spoken out about the fact that she was having mental issues and that she needed a break from social media.
But yeah, because people have been calling her fat.
No, that's not what happened. So now I'm gonna really just gonna have to set this correct, because I hate when people say this.
Okay.
Lizzo posts butt naked thong photos on the internet, and people respond to that. She's assaulting people, and they're assaulting her back. Nobody was out here being like, Adele, back when she was bigger, Adele, you're this, because Adele was just dressing like a normal person. She had a beautiful voice, and we took her for her talent. Lizzo, by the way, is very talented. She doesn't have to be in a thong shaking her butt. I actually like Lizzo. I used to really bop to Lizzo's songs, actually. Yeah. It was fun. Like fun music that wasn't super derogatory.
And she's enjoying
But then
herself.
what happened?
And
then what happened? Let me tell you what happened. She got into Hollywood, and they were like, you know what the best part about you is? You're fat. And they were like, and this is what happened. And somebody was like, they offered her the Netflix deal, and they gave her a Netflix show. Like, this one's for the big girls. They were like, find the fattest people ever and make them dances. Why would Netflix give you a deal for that? It's like a crazy concept of a show. Like, this one's for the big girls. Like, literally, this is a show on fucking Netflix. It's crazy. They were like, go find the fattest. This was like the inversion of TLC's.
Candace is in here doing stand-up right now.
500. This is like the inversion of my 500-pound life. Like, at least my 500-pound life is like, it's a sad story. They're like, your life is going to be great. Go out and find the fattest girl to take on tour. This is fucking demonic. What's going on?
Demonic.
Yes,
she is embracing big women.
No,
we love big girls.
There's no way Lizzo went and pitched that. That was pitched to her, and it was money, and she accepted it. So then they made her just in the same way that I felt, and I can't wait until I have a discussion with Amber Rose, because I felt that they take these girls and they do or say one thing, and then they tell them like, this is who you have to be. Like, this is the best part about you. And then they lean into that for no reason. Like, she didn't have to do all that. Like, when she first appeared on the scene, she was just fun. And suddenly she's like always in a thong. And
because she's liberating. She's loving herself.
okay, well, I wish she could like do that not on Instagram and
it's her page. Don't follow her.
Okay, fair. I personally just think that if she decides to put it out there and people comment on it, that's also fair.
And I think she handles it very well.
And like I said, if it was like the reason why nobody was ever attacking Adele, she's slimmed down, was because she never made her brand being big. She just had a beautiful voice. No, people aren't going around just like calling people big names. So I don't like when people act like they're the victims. And it's like, dude, you're wearing a thong on a basketball court. Like, your whole ass is out. And you're not small. By the way, even if you were small, people would still talk. If Kylie Jenner walked out with a thong and her ass out, we would be outraged, and rightfully so. We would call it out and we'd be like, this is hoe culture. She thinks actually that she's like a special, oh, I'm big and you can't say anything about fat girls, or else you'd be considered fatphobic. I already caught that Pokemon ball too. People call me fatphobic. No, I'm just telling the truth. It's not healthy to be fat. But many people are struggling with their weight, and it's actually the best stories ever when you hear about talking about how they're trying to get bigger. I love watching DJ Khaled on his freaking
losing weight and on his weight loss journey.
Yeah, it's fine. It's like, okay,
I mean, everybody can admire when somebody's getting their health
making an
together.
effort. Yeah,
that
and so for wanting that for her, and because I think she's
like
very
you picking
talented.
On her.
I'm not picking on her. I think she's picking on me. Did you see the basketball court photo, or when she got into the plane and posted it with her assless chaps? She's picking on me.
Picking on you.
Yeah,
because her ass is out. That's picking on you.
Basketball game. People take their kids, their young sons, and she gets up there with assless chaps. Who is the victim? Me or Lizzo? See, they're all nodding and they're pointing at me.
We'll let them answer.
Who's the victim? Who's the victim?
See, this is what Candace, what I was trying to do, which we are doing, I guess. This was supposed to be about education and uplifting of the Black community. But now you done diss LeBron.
No!
You done diss Lizzo. You done diss Beyonce.
They're going to say, she's never coming to the cookout. I don't want to go to the cookout.
You better come strapped to the cookout. Nah, but I mean, obviously, I love you. I love the outspokenness, the honesty, but there are a lot of people who do have adverse feelings to your outspokenness. And I talk about collecting Pokemon balls. I mean, you've already created a reputation that necessarily wouldn't be accepted in the Black community. And then you marry a white man. So then they really believe that you don't rock with your culture because you married outside of your culture. And then you say so many things that on the surface look like you're not supportive of your culture. Now, if somebody read this book, they would understand, oh no, she's actually empowering. But then when they hear you speak bad about our artists, our athletes, or not, when you say things that they may not agree with about our artists and our athletes, how does that make you feel that when the Black community says, like, you turned your back on us?
I think people have come around a lot. And I think it's because I've had the benefit of time. I'm not new anymore. And a lot of the stuff that I've said 8 years ago turned out to be true. And I think that they're trying to listen more than they've ever listened. And because I'm not hating on these people, I want better for the Black community, you know? And like I said, Lizzo didn't have to do all that. She is talented. I like her songs. I have her music downloaded on my phone.
You ain't got no ass shots of her on your phone. No,
exactly.
You don't want to see that. You just want to hear appreciate the music.
Yeah, she's just like fun boppy music, which was cool.
But to other so big girls, that's empowering to see her.
You should not be empowered to hurt yourself. Okay. And that is the reality. If you're feeling empowered to like, no one would ever be like, oh, I feel empowered because, you know, I was a cokehead, but then I found this Instagram community, everybody's just doing coke. Everyone's just doing cocaine. And now I'm empowered. I'm a heroin addict, but then I'm on Instagram, there's this whole community of people just shooting up heroin. And now I'm feeling empowered. That's stupid. But everybody knows that's stupid. But for whatever reason, we are now trying to train people.
Can I piggyback on that analogy?
Yeah, sure.
Where I can show you the empowerment. Because in addiction, the first step is acknowledgement. So in that sense, we do empower people who, when those heroin addicts or those alcoholics, they never let go of that badge. They will always tell you that they are an addict.
While when they're clean.
And so in someone's process of loving themselves, however they got to be obese in the process, it takes self-adulation, self-love to get to that space to say, I love me for who I am, and therefore I want to be the better me. So if we're experiencing Lizzo in her love myself phase, that's the step to get to I want to better myself.
You would never say that to a heroin addict. You would
Yes,
never
you
say
would.
you would never say you're in your love
You're
yourself phase
you're
right now.
embracing
No.
that you got to acknowledge that you have
That's
an
different.
addiction.
You're saying two different things right now. You just said she's in her love herself phase. Now you're saying you have to acknowledge you have an addiction.
So she's acknowing that she's a big girl.
No, but that's just acknowledging.
She acknowledging she loves food.
No, she hasn't. She hasn't. She's basically being turned into a prop to encourage people to not want to fix a problem that they have. Like I said, it would be just like if someone was a heroin addict and you just like made that a thing and turned them into like lean into that, and now we're going to get you dancers that also are heroin addicts. You'd be like, what are we doing? Why is this a show on Netflix? Why are we looking for this one's for the needle in the arm girls? We would all be like, that's very weird.
Doing stand-up
but I'm not. I'm saying like actually I'm just trying to make people process how weird that is. Like we're living in a world where they're trying to teach you that sickness is health. And that health is sickness. It's completely, and that's why I say it's demonic, because Satan is the author of lies and deception. It's deceptive. And I say this genuinely with love in my heart because it's not needed. Like I don't have an issue with the fact that she's a big girl. People go through things in at different times. I have an issue with all of society pretending that like putting that out there and encouraging it and calling it like fat acceptance, giving it like a funny, pretty little name is a good thing. I love shame. Love it. Shame is a necessary ingredient for change. And a lot of times when you are talking about people that are alcoholics and they've cleaned up their lives, when you talk to them, they always talk about when they hit the bottom, right? They hit the bottom. What was the thing that shamed you the most? And someone will say, I walked into my second son's birthday party and I, fell down and broke something because and I couldn't even look at myself in the morning. And that was the thing that shamed me the most. That made me change my life. When you talk to people that have had addictions and they tell you about what was that moment, they had to hit the bottom. So if we're now all just cushioning it and dad shows up high at the party and falls over and knocks over a toddler and you're just like, well, you're just being you. You're just in your you phase. This one's for the heroin addicts. Like that's not good, right? You have to say, and you don't have to say this in a way that's mean, but you should be honest about